Everything is a lizard when the rule is if you see a lizard, catch a lizard. Sticks are lizards, rocks are lizards, leaves are lizards, trees are lizards.
Don't you run from me. Don't you run from me, lizard.
Sometimes the lizards really do look like little stump parts of the tree, and then they'll move and you're like, oh, it was a lizard after all. My name is Erin McGee, and I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Arizona in Tucson studying lizards. People who study reptiles and amphibians, including lizards, are called herpetologists, but if you follow me on social media, they call me the lizard lady. I first started studying lizards when I was an undergraduate student at Howard University, and I got to come out here to Arizona and work in the Chiricahua Mountains. I expect to see that these lizards are eating emerging aquatic insects from stream systems, just to know, is this going to be a potentially important food source that they're losing because we're having a lot of drought and stream drying in Arizona?
This leg is shed. This one is getting ready to shed.
Scientists use a compound out of Gila monster saliva to make a medicine for diabetes. Well, they probably needed to keep some Gila monsters in the lab, and so how would they know what to feed those Gila monsters if someone didn't already do that research for them? My relationship with lizards, I say it's a lot of fun, but I'm sure they disagree.
Are you done?
Yeah. Over the whole time that I've been catching lizards, I've probably caught at least 500. Once I have a lizard in hand, I take their body length, so from their snout to the vent, which is where they let out their excrement, and then also I take the tail length, and I look to see if they have any regrown tail. I look to see if they have any parasites on them, if they're shedding. I also take their mass, and then I take toe clippings. My favorite lizard fact of all time is that some lizards give live birth. They don't lay eggs. There's horned lizards. Some of those lizards can shoot blood out of their eye to deter predators. And there's also a few species of whiptail lizards who can reproduce asexually. So essentially their populations are all female and they just make clones of themselves. So the lizards itself doesn't really tell me anything. It's when I take my data back to the lab and do the data analysis, that's when I kind of learn about what the lizards can tell me about climate change. With climate change and the environments not being as lizard friendly, we can definitely see species start to go extinct. I was exposed to reptiles and stuff as a kid, just being outside in general. I also had a bearded dragon growing up because my mom wasn't, an animal person, so she was like, no dogs, no cats, it needs to stay in the cage. My family's reaction to me wanting to study reptiles was, they were really confused. They were just like, as long as you can pay your bills. Then I decided to go to grad school because I loved it so much. And that's just when I knew that being out in nature and discovering and enjoying the natural world was what I wanted to do for my career. When I first got into ecology and herpetology, I knew that it was a white male-dominated field, and it was expected. So I was determined to be better than everybody else, knowing as a Black woman I was already an underdog in this field, and I wanted to be the best. Pioneering wasn't necessarily something that I wanted to do. I just wanted to make the journey easier for other Black women and Black people in general who came after me. That's actually one of the reasons why I got onto social mediums. I talk about my experiences. If people come into, my DMs or send me messages or whatnot, asking questions, I always try to answer them. It allowed me to reach more broad audiences. It doesn't matter where I am or where they are, they can still see the message. Every Wednesday around 5 o'clock Mountain Time, I run a game called #FindThatLizard, where I post a picture of a lizard camouflaged in its natural environment and people have to find it. I get messages from people just telling me that They really enjoy the game. It's made them have a greater appreciation for lizards. And also from people who look like me who didn't know that being a herpetologist was an option for them. It's important to have different kinds of STEM programs available to Black people and other people of color at all stages of their careers. I wouldn't have been able to be a part of the Environmental Biology Scholars Program if it wasn't a paid opportunity. I always knew that I wanted to work with animals, and in respect to being a Black woman in this country, I always knew I wanted to change the world for the better. I want the kids in the next generation to be able to see someone and feel like that is something that I can do too.
Hey everybody, you might have noticed this was a little different than our typical programming. It's one of 5 video profiles we're launching that are a part of the GRIS 50, our annual list of 50 people who are doing cool work in climate and the environment. You can check out that full list here or in the description below.